Remember, Donald Trump today denying any support for such a policy. In fact, he tweeted, quote, "I didn't suggest a database. A reporter did. We must defeat Islamic terrorism and have surveillance, including a watch list to protect Americans." Eboni Williams, Cathy Taylor back with me. Trump fans, I got to also tell you guys, they came at me pretty hard today. We covered this yesterday. But I also think that to a certain degree, and Steve, you're back with us as well, that Donald Trump is going to have to be a little bit more careful. I mean, listen, the drive-by media has the GOP specifically in their scopes, and if it's ambiguous, then it's going to come out the wrong way.
Donald Trump is the John Wayne of the 21st century. We need a man like him who's going to stand up and tell it like it is. And the media is twisting and shaping the story. Charles, I never heard the word database come out of his mouth. However, he clarified later that he was talking about a watch list. He's talking about saving American lives.
But when someone says, are you open to a possible database or ID, and you say, if you don't say a definitive no, then you do leave yourself open to something, Cathy. Well, we know how people have been set up so far in this election.
They're interpreting what he said, okay?
Oh, come on now. He kind of stepped in it. Now, we just saw the footage. And look, I'm with Charles on this. There's a savviness. And this is where political inexperience rears its head. I think Trump's ran a fantastic campaign for where he's at so far. But as he gets further and further into this thing, he is going to have to step up his savviness and be able to see that coming from a mile away. That was a setup coming his way, and he stepped right into it.
But what he's done so well, and this is the power of Trump, like it or not, is that he has been able to put his finger on the pulse of what American people are thinking but don't want to say, however un-PC it is, and then say it, and then over a course of a couple of weeks, dial it back to something a little more reasonable. Let's remember, just a few weeks ago, it was Trump who said, let Putin handle ISIS. Why should we be over there? And he's not saying that today. All
right, so here's the thing, guys. What about this issue? Because I tweeted it. I did a poll today where I'm approaching 1,000 people have taken this poll, and I just said, didn't put in presidential candidates, but should we demand that American Muslims have special identification? 54% said yes because the risks are too high. You said Donald Trump has a way of touching the American public. Is it something we don't want to talk about in polite society, but it may be something that a lot of people feel?
It's what a lot of people feel, but unfortunately it's not the root of the problem. The problem is not Islam per se, it is these groups. And so a national registry, a national database doesn't really do anything, and he knows that. And freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom is at the core of America. It's at the core of the Republican Party.
Right, but here's the thing, Steve, we do protect things like hate speech. You can't, we do even have limitations with respect to the Constitution when it endangers the greater good.
Charles, in my view, Donald Trump believes, I think like many of us do, that we are going to be engaged in a war unlike anything we've ever seen before in the history of this country.
Are you okay with IDs?
I'm okay with IDs, yes, for individual groups, okay?
No, I'm talking about American Muslims. Do you think they all should have a special identification?
No. I do believe this, though. And I believe he believes this, okay? Not about all of them, but anyone who comes up on the radar, they should be watched and they should have special aid.
I agree. I think Donald Trump was sandbagged.
Yes, he was.
But he's got to be careful. He's got to be careful. I got to tell you that right now.